Final year student ends it all over heartbreak. Arobo Precious, a 28-year-old final year student of Rufus Giwa Polytechnic, RUGIPO, Ondo State, has been confirmed dead after allegedly taking his own life. The tragedy occurred on evening of Tuesday, June 18, 2025. According to local sources, Precious, an HND2 student, was found lifeless around 9 p.m. in a bush near his residence in Owo Town. His body was reportedly discovered hanging with a rope around his neck. Before his death, Precious shared a disturbing video on social media indicating he was dealing with deep emotional distress. The video caption suggested the cause may have been a failed romantic relationship. As it read, Enia Yewu Okpeyemi was the one who got me into this. People say there is still life out there, but not to me. There is nothing anymore. Confirming the incident, Ondo State Police Public Relations Officer SP Ayalande Olanyinka said a suicide case was reported at about 10 p.m. on June 18th at the B Division Police Station in Owo. Upon receipt of the information, the DPO led a team of detectives to the scene where a young man's body was found hanging with a rope believed to have been used in the act. Olanyinka stated the body has now been deposited at the Federal Medical Center morgue in Owo for preservation and autopsy. Family sources say Precious has since been buried, with relatives describing him as a good person and expressing heartbreak over his untimely death. The incident has cast a sober mood over the RUGIPO community and reignited conversations around youth mental health and emotional well-being. Now, for many people, I think when I was trying to get into the university back in the day, there was the situation of a guy that's gone through a heartbreak. And I don't know how familiar you are with University of Port Harcourt. He jumped from that Ofrima building that's so high and killed himself. What are your thoughts on this report?
The truth about it is that a lot of people are going through stuff. That one is something we cannot overemphasize.
Right.
A lot of people are going through stuff, so much emotional issues here and there. And then, and then the thing there too is that a lot of us walk into relationships and we don't understand the rules of engagement. We just go in and just throw in our 100%, while the person you are working with or you are in a relationship with is just there to just catch fun. You get, but all I can say right now, if you are watching, if you are listening or watching this telecast right now, I don't care what it is that have happened to you in life. One of the things you just have to understand is that as long as you've got life, there is nothing you lost that you cannot get back.
Right.
There is nothing. But if you lose your life, it can't come back. And then it's a pity that the young man had to kill himself. But then heartbreaks are things that must happen. You can't take it away from him. As long as there is choice, as long as we have the right to choose, there will always be heartbreak.
Now going ahead to kill yourself over heartbreak, is it too much expectation from the partner? I mean,
it's just that there are just some persons who, there are people who are just like that. It's not about maybe if you even check the reason why now this guy the person walked away or the lady walked away, and if you look at it very, very well, you might even tell the lady, thank you for walking away. You understand me? But just that there are just people who get so proud about life that they just get to that point, they just feel like, they don't deserve certain things. For me, that's pride. Who are you? Who do you think you are? That somebody cannot walk away from your life. Is there anything too special about you? Life is life. Life happens. When it happens, sit down for a while, mourn, cry if you have to cry, and pick up yourself and move. That's why even under the Nigerian constitution, it's a crime to kill yourself. If you are caught committing suicide, if you are caught before you die, you can go to jail. If you don't have a right to take your life. It's true, because you might be the one holding the answer of all the wahala in Nigeria, and you want to kill yourself and go and keep all of us in problem like this.
Now let's talk about this. This happened, in a school environment, and I know that for many students the pressure is usually high. The pressure, you're calling home, we are going through a lot as a people with, the cost of living and the state of the economy. Fuel prices have just gone up in recent times again. That means the price of food is going to go up again. That means, life is actually just, life. And some parents are really trying so hard to make sure that these kids get an education. Now, do you think that right now in schools, students are being made to prioritize their mental health, especially as regards in a learning environment. You would expect that there are standby counselors to at least speak to
the harshness in the streets.
Right. Is now the stress now is even worse than the stress before. Do you think that schools should prioritize that at this time?
For me, I think so, because even if you see the way the lecturers even come at the students, buying of textbooks, if you don't pay this money, if you don't pay that money, you are failing my course. As in, they will tell you, pump and play, that listen, it's not about listening to me teach you. It's not about what you are going to read. If you don't do this and do this, you are failing my course. That's already enough emotional trauma.
Right.
You know, to think about that you're going to fail a course just because probably you cannot even afford to buy the textbook. Some person have not even paid their school fees, and then you have the pressure of I have to graduate. This is like my hope to get a good job, to train, to help my parents, to help my siblings. Now, when you look at that alone, is already enough emotional trauma for a student. Then you now come and add the fact of, okay, a young man walked away or a young girl walked away, and then your friends are laughing, or the person is even making a caricature of you, or the person in your very before walked away and then accepted another person that is,
right.
All that is a whole lot to handle. And I want to say, if there's a way the government can help, maybe once in a while like this, make it a compulsory checkup. Maybe that day will be public holiday. Everybody go meet a therapist once a month. Just go. Let them just ask you questions.
Right.
Just go and just pour your heart out.
Now, do you think that, I know that times have evolved. I want to just, just a thought, a thought just crossed my mind. Do you think that people early in the university that haven't yet defined their life's part, they haven't found, including all this pressure, they should be getting into, deep emotional relationships such as this?
I don't think you need it, because every one of us, our lives are divided into three. You have the first 25 years of your life, you have the second 25 years of your life, you have the third 25 years of your life. Now, there are some persons for the late bloomers. We can say, okay, the first 30 years of your life, the second 30 years, and then the last 30 years. Now, for this one, that means at 90, you should have been able to fulfill everything you ought to fulfill. You should be resting. If you are still alive, like bodily, you should be resting. You should just watch life, everything you've set up. Now, the first 30 or the first 25 years of your life, depending on the one you choose, you understand? Hearing me right now, it should be a foundation laying stage for you. And at foundation laying stage, you don't need a boyfriend, you don't need a girlfriend, you don't need that romantic relationship. What you need at that phase of your life is to build relationships. Learn how to relate with people. Because from nursery school, primary school, secondary school, and then university, this is when you build friends that 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line can become strong support systems for you. You understand me? But you see, some of us just don't get it right. Probably because the home front have failed in the responsibilities. Because your father and your mother should be able to be your first love, in quotes. They should be able to provide that emotional balance for you. You should be able to, as a girl, you should be able to feel lonely sometimes and call your father, and your father like, how are you? And you feel that warmth again. Call your mom, you feel that warmth again. You understand me? Right. But because most times these children grow apart from their parents. Parents are hustling to make money to take them to the best schools and all that. So they don't spend that quality time with them. They don't show them that friendship. They just grow up lusting for one young man, one young girl that will just come spend time with them. They can cry on your shoulder. They can tell you all those stuff and all that. Now, if fathers and mothers are able to provide this for their parents, for their children, they grow up with that emotional balance.
Right.
As they get into school, what they're looking for now is life friends that will stick to them for life. You understand me? So that first 25 years of your life is the time to develop yourself, self-development, learn how to communicate, learn how to build relationship, how to relate to people, learn about life, build the foundation, because your foundation is actually the foundation is the part of a building you don't see that hold up that part that you see. And then that part in your life is your thought structure. Your thinking processes produce the life you have today. You understand me? So if you can build having the right mentality about relationships, having the right mentality about money, having the right mentality about life, and every area of life. The first 25 years, build on that. By the time you're entering the second 25 or second 30 of your life, that's now execution stage. That's the stage now where you can now begin to think, okay, now I know how to build a relationship. I know how men think. I know how women think. I know how to do this and now you can now think of settling down because, okay, you have a good job running. Your finances are working.
All right.
Emotionally, you are balanced. You can now carry somebody along and say, okay, now I want to marry. Because all these things, now think about it. A child of 16, 17 years old has started dating. You and I know that dating will go nowhere. By the time they've gotten romantically involved, the guy, after school, breaks her heart. Now, she now has a mindset. Men cannot be trusted. Because in the first place, that relationship was not even meant to last. But in her mind, hey, I'm going to marry this guy. And that guy walks away. Now, she's, let's say, 18 now. At 18, after a while, she mourns and then heals. And then the next thing, another young, handsome guy comes again. That one looks so promising. She tells herself, I'm not going to date someone who this and that. Finally, she finds all those fittings that she said she's not going to. Now, she gets the right spec, in quote. Now, because that relationship was not defined, it's not going anywhere in the first place. If the guy was just there for fun, he wasn't there to marry you in the first place. He's also doing what you are doing, experimenting. Now, a second heartbreak. By the time this girl is up to 25, she's already having a wrong mindset about guys. That even if she's in a relationship now, she's the way she's punishing this one now for what the other 3 or the other 4, the other 5 did to her. Now, she gets into marriage with that kind of mindset. You find out that the marriage begins to struggle from day one because of the heartbreaks that she has not dealt with in the past. So you see that when these things are not handled right, they corrupt your foundation. They turn you into someone that by the time you are getting into that building stage now, the stage where you should have been able to now begin to dispense and set up stuff, you'll not be setting up things. Your marital life on a wrong foundation. Your financial life on a wrong foundation. Your business life on everything begins to get messed up. By the time you now get to 60, life is already gone.
Certainly so. Thank you so much for your deep analysis of the report. Very much appreciate it. Court sentences couple to jail. Taliban authorities in Kabul have sentenced the man and woman to 39 lashes each and 18 months imprisonment after finding them guilty of engaging in extramarital sex, according to a statement issued Tuesday by the group's Supreme Court. It remains unclear whether the floggings reportedly carried out on Monday were conducted in public. Previous punishments of this nature under Taliban rule have often been witnessed by crowds sparking international condemnation. Since reclaiming power in August of 2021, the Taliban have reintroduced a hardline interpretation of Sharia law, enforcing corporal and capital punishment for crimes such as adultery, robbery, and murder. Officials argue that strict implementation of Islamic legal codes is necessary to uphold morality, reduce crime, and ensure social order. The latest incident echoes similar punishments in Aceh, Indonesia's only province that enforces Sharia law. 3 weeks ago, a young couple were publicly flogged 100 times each for having sex outside marriage. Reports say the lashings were administered with a rattan cane in front of onlookers and under medical supervision. The woman was flogged by a masked female enforcer in line with local customs. The Taliban continuing application of such punishment has strong criticism from global human rights organizations who argue that such measures violate international standards on human dignity and fair trial rights. What are your thoughts on this report?
There must be moral code. There must be a way to keep people in check. If you don't set up measures to keep people in check, people can just live life and then there'll be no law, there'll be no order. You understand? Now, I'm not a Muslim, but if you're a Muslim, you know your laws. That's my own. You get my point now. As a Muslim, you know your laws. You know your laws. Now, these people are not, they know. But you see, people will always want to do stuff and feel that they can get away with it most times. And for whatever reason now, they were caught. And the funny thing about it is that the man and the wife together having extramarital affairs How is that? You understand me? How is that possible? And then they cut the both of you. Or is it the people you did it with that reported the people, or what? I can't explain, but whatever it is, for me, I won't stay here now to say why would the Muslim flog people. No, that's their law, and that's and whether we like it or not, there are certain things about life. If we don't put in strict measures, those things will keep occurring, and it will keep hurting the society, and before you know it, there will be no law, there will be no order.
So apart from this flogging and imprisonment, what other measures can be used to prevent such things? For me, I still believe that to prevent such things, let's raise people right. Let's raise people right. Let's raise people right. When they are raised right, they just know I can't do this. I can't do this. Right. This is not part of my training. You understand? So that's it.